Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for being here today. We've got the Stock Squad, and we are going to do a reaction to Meta. Man, did that thing fall apart. It absolutely came down really fast, and we're going to dive into a little bit of why. I'm going to get the Stock Squad reaction. We're going to analyze the market. We've got Google tomorrow. You know, I had said at some point earlier this week, I said that a lot of the bad had already been priced into Tesla and that there was a favorable move to the upside impending. And it appears that a lot of the good had already been priced into Meta, and the opportunity here was to the downside. But I think that that pullback was extreme. I would even go as far as to say that in my view, it was ridiculous. It hit my lowest down target. It's bounced from there. It literally hit that. I'll go into the charts at some point and show that to you. It hit it on the money. It's bounced from there. On some of the Lux Algo indicators that I use, it's printed some buy signals. And so, you know, at this moment, if my premise that the overall market still is in a bull run that is not confirmed bearish, if that's correct, which previously on the S&P 500, guys, last time we did this live, I think it was you, Keenan, on your show, I made the comment that we were going to come 6% down on the S&P 500. We hit that on the nose, and I said, that was an expected move to the downside. We're then potentially going to climb all the way back up into our channel and continue the march on to 5,500. Now, you know, we've made that move. If, and that turned out to be correct, if we begin to continue to climb from here, so far we've got the beginnings of a V shape on the S&P 500. If we continue to climb from here, it will enable, I believe, this extreme oversold condition on Meta to also continue to move back up. Now, it might make a lower high. I'm not saying we're going back to all-time highs, but at the moment, I'm thinking at the moment that there's room to the upside because of this overreaction, a little bit of the news coverage, and then I'm going to kick things off, Mo, with you, if you don't mind. I'm going to ask your thoughts. But it appeared that even though they had beat expectations year over year, incredible growth, what the market didn't like, and I talk about this on my show all the time, is the market analysts want cautious spending. Basically, they said we're going to spend more money building up and building out AI. They also said that customers have balked at the increased pricing that has been incorporated with the use of AI. So customers have balked at that. They're going to spend some more money. Wall Street, when they hear that we're spending more money, they hear that profit's going to shrink, right? And so they price that in. But a sure heck of a lot of it got priced in here today, which means that it might have all got priced in a single day. I expected that move down that we got today, I really expected that to occur over the course of weeks and months, not after hours in one day. That's shocking. It's also a signal that the markets are heating up with volatility, and we got to take that into account as we look at Google tomorrow. Mo, what are your thoughts on this?
This is crazy. You know, I look at the charts and everything else for everybody that watched. It was actually, well, you can't quite see that there, but pulling up the charts and everything else, I'll tell you, seeing it down to 417.93 now. Woo! No way did I think that this thing is going to, basically have some decent numbers out there. You know, you look at Tesla yesterday. I know a lot of people scratching their head. Revenue, a big beat. But a couple words from the boss, up 10%, 12%. You got Meta coming out today, which I thought, what do we hear from the Fed? What do we hear from the Fed? We get GDP is through the roof. We're sorry. We're so bad. It's so high. We have, it's not 1.2. We're looking at 2 point something for GDP. Everything's great in the U.S. And then all of a sudden, Meta comes out and says, what they say, which basically was, it's not bad. We're doing okay. And the stock gets pummeled 15% at this particular moment.
Mo, I want to hit you with something. Okay, so I pointed this out yesterday. Do you realize that Meta has gone up? When we recently hit the high, do you know that we were up over 500% on a big tech company? That's crazy. It's not an altcoin, my friend.
Yeah.
So, I
No,
mean,
no.
really, all that I see that's happened here is some profit taking has occurred because of how lofty it was. People were getting afraid. This is all an algorithm sell-off. It's all an algorithm sell-off. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? If that's the case, and we see everything running, right? And you got the charts, you know the charts, Josh. If you say, hey, this monster run from the baseline up, this monster run, it's time for profit taking. The truth is, if it really is profit taking, and we get that normal 50 to 61.8% of profit taken, maybe this is just the beginning and we go to 400 to 374, get in that zone because we're right there. We're right there at 417. And the normal buy zone, the major buy zone, in my opinion, 404, 374. If you touch in there, you have that natural, hey, look, profit taking's happening. The computers are running. The algos are doing their thing. But if you touch 375, folks, if you're long-term on this, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. And we're almost there right now, which is absolutely insane. I would say this. Keep an eye on some of the other plays that could absolutely possibly give you more gains. Or, look at FNGU, which we know Meta's in there. That's that triple leverage. And for those who haven't seen that one, this is, when one of the triple leverage plays get absolutely crushed, that's a tough one. I'll give you an idea. I'll be able to show you this over the last year. This is the kind of play, and you can see this is FNGU over the last year, 250% up, 8% down in the after hours. Why? Because one of the 10 underlying plays is Meta. So Meta gets absolutely just stung today. And we're going to see an ugly day tomorrow, of course, for FNGU. But if you believe, Josh, that we are in a place where we're down there, this is normal profit taking, and we are close at that line of support, I would say for those who just want the typical Meta, that's a decent play. If you're looking for triple leverage, maybe consider a little bit more. Maybe you got the FNGU if you think things are going to rally. I don't know. Personally, I think we are going to see the markets rally. I think crypto is going to rally. I think the next 12 months are going to be interesting. You got election things. And normally, history tells us what? The markets don't crash until the Fed cuts. It's after the Fed cuts that the markets usually start to tank. They don't cut until they have to have a reason to.
Mo, I'm with you on that. Larry, I'm coming to you. I want to set up the question a little bit. We've done some gap filling on Meta because it had jumped. I'm curious. I like to keep it clear for the family. I like to put you guys in the hot seat. And so the question I'm going to be asking you, Larry, is what happens tomorrow? Did we go down enough today that we can recover some ground tomorrow? Or are you concerned that Meta's got more downside coming? Larry, tell the people what you think.
Yes, I think Meta's got a little more downside, believe it or not. I see the gaps, so it could jump up. I think Meta and Tesla are kind of in the same boat, right? So did Meta beat earnings? I think Meta did beat earnings, didn't they?
Meta beat, and they were year over year killing it.
Right.
Double digits increase.
So listen to this. Meta did an earnings beat and it tanked, right? Tesla missed earnings and it went up.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute.
All right. We need to think about that, Larry. We need to really process that. That's big.
Exactly. So what is it, right? What it is now is you said it, Josh, it's the expectation. A lot of expectation is already built into the price, right? And then, so what is going to make the difference is forward guidance, right? So you got, to Mo's point, you had Elon yesterday on Tesla. Hey, we're coming out with more vehicles, more models, right? And we're going to have the robo-taxis are coming sooner. The robots are coming sooner. He just started boom, 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 which is also, and I'm going into Tesla, I know, but I'm making a point. His pay is also back on the table now. They're discussing that again, right? That man wants his money. So I'm covering Tesla. But with Meta, remember, what happened to Meta the first time they got spanked. They got spanked because the CEO left his core audience and started chasing the metaverse.
They're afraid of how he likes to spend money, Larry.
Exactly. So this is kind of a replay to me. And so I think with all of this gapping we got, right? I see short term, like you said, short term, I see that it could come back up, not to where it was, but we got a little room to come up. But I believe in the long run, over the next few months, there will actually be a sell off. You may disagree, but that's what I see with Meta.
Well, we're going to get to Tesla in a minute. Matter of fact, I'm going to get Keenan's thoughts on Meta. And then, Keenan, you're welcome to just transition directly into Tesla. I'm going to set you up for both questions. So my thought process is that Meta, we're going to be watching for Meta to make a lower high at this point. It's up 500%. This appears to be a bit of an overreaction to me. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Larry. Does Meta recover some of this loss, or is there potentially a new low coming tomorrow? And not to give you too much at one time, today on my video I posted BYD came out with a jumping EV. So it literally, they call it a bunny move. It hops. All four wheels go like this. It goes bup off the ground and lands. And it's an absolute flex against Tesla and the American EV market. They're saying they're the kings of EV. Right when Tesla stock was down at 140, Elon had to come out and say something. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on Meta, and then let's dive into some of your thoughts on Tesla yesterday. Keenan, Meta recovering tomorrow or not? You muted, my friend.
Gotcha. I think Meta can recover tomorrow, but I wanted to start off by saying this. Everybody who's in the chat, I want to say, I hope that something good happens to you today. You might not have heard it from somebody else, but I'm going to say it to you now. I hope that something good happens to you today and tomorrow, right? Regardless of what's going on in the stock market, we got to remember at the end of the day that we're all people and we got to take care of each other. So with that being said, I didn't get to congratulate Josh on hitting 100,000 subs. So could everyone in the chat hit the like for Josh and then put a 100 emoji in the chat for Josh? We are waiting for that plaque. If you see Josh and he doesn't show you that 100K plaque, you say, Josh, where's that plaque, man? We try to see that 100K plaque. We're waiting for it, Josh. Just know, watch all the love roll in from the family. So I also wanted to say, speaking of Meta, it has an opportunity to take it back to the stock market, of course. It has an opportunity to come back tomorrow, but that's really just, we'll wait and see. You don't want to really trade like that and think like that, though, on what you kind of hope to see. You want to say, what does the chart say, and what do the fundamentals of the company say? And the third thing, what will the news say? We've been here before, kind of like what Larry just said. A year ago, well, in October of 2022, I made this video, and you can see that Meta was $97. And I had titled this video, it might be backwards for you to see it, but I had titled this video, "A Billionaire's Losses Are About to Make Us Rich." Meta had fell off of a cliff. It was down 70%. It went up to like 400 or so, came down to 900 or 90, 97 to pick us up. So then we could ride the wave straight back up on Meta. This is what I want you to think of tomorrow. Not so much of if the price is going to go up immediately. I want you to look at the forward PE. If you see that the forward PE ratio is under 20 and you want to DCA, then in my opinion, I can't tell you what to buy, hold, or sell, but if the forward PE is under 20, then it looks like a good buy on the fundamentals for a great tech stock like Meta. So was there anything else you asked me, Josh, that I didn't get to?
You know, first of all, thank you for acknowledging the page success. Thank you guys for hitting the like. I always want to acknowledge some of the other guys that our group, the Stock Squad, support, like Lisa J. Stocks. She's always present. She's got her own channel, and I just want to shout her out because at one point I was that little page, and it was guys like Keenan that supported me and said, hey, Josh, join the fam. Larry brought me to the fam, but Mo and Keenan had to accept me, and they did. And so I just want to thank you guys again today. I appreciate you guys. You know how much I do. But the next question, Keenan, I'm going to let you get into it. Then I'm going to come over to you, Mo, and that's Tesla. Now, Tesla has ripped up to right under 165. They haven't been killing it. The macro's terrible. Interest rates are high. Who wants a luxury car? Competition is, in my mind, beating them, flexing their incredible car while Elon's supposedly working on the roadsters. Now, I'm playing the devil's advocate because I'm a Tesla guy, right? So I don't get it twisted. I like Tesla. I love trading Tesla. Tesla's a payday for me. But I got to keep a clear eye on the bear story so that I can make money and hedge my long-term Tesla position. So BYD has got a car that goes to 60 miles an hour in 2 seconds. It's got a car that literally does bunny hops off the ground. It's an incredible car. I think 1,250 horsepower, some incredible numbers coming out, around 220K. They're out today right after Elon's Tesla's earnings. Personally, I believe that marketing that came out on that vehicle, they thought that Tesla's numbers were going to get crushed, and this was going to be part of the shame game. They were going to run this car and what it could do while Tesla stock was down, but Wall Street said, no, we're going to give Elon another chance. I'm curious, does this V-shaped recovery for Tesla that we saw yesterday, does it stick? What is your thoughts on Tesla moving forward?
Who's going first? Me?
You're on still. Then I'm going to Mo.
So with Tesla going forward, now everybody in the chat, you've been investing or trading at least for a year. We saw about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, Tesla hit $100 after being $400, after being $300, $200. We saw it go to $100. The only comment that I've been hearing, and you let me know if this is you, yes or no, is that when it hit 100, you should have bought more. Do you agree with that? Let me know in the chat so I can just see if people agree they should have bought more when it was 100 or not. But I also want you to remember now how hard it was to buy Tesla when it was down versus after it ran up. And you're thinking, man, I wish I would load up now. We got to remember that the goal is to buy it low, but sometimes buying it low, it doesn't just take a strong mind. Sometimes it takes a strong stomach, and you got to hold your nose and just basically load up on it when it's low and it's making a lot of sense. But remember, you will be alone on this island. Maybe you'll hear Josh talk about it. Maybe you'll hear Larry talk about it. Maybe you'll hear Mo talk about it. You might hear Keenan talk about it. But in your own heart, in your own portfolio, you're going to be alone on this island. And there's not going to be the Tesla army when everything is down. The army comes after the run. Oh, yeah, we love Tesla. But you got to be there to tell yourself, hey, it's down. Now it's time for me to buy it, especially if your average price is significantly high. This is what I like to do often. The moving averages. Find out what either the regular 200 moving average is or the EMA, the exponential moving average. If you look at the daily chart and Tesla is under the daily chart 200 moving average and you don't want to buy it yet, that's fine. But the day that you see it go back over the 200 moving average, you got to start to think to yourself, man, I probably should have started buying it before, but I got to start now, right? So pay attention to the daily moving average. And as we approach it, then you'll say, okay, if we break over it, we're starting to see more strength, less win, and less load up.
That's great stuff, Keenan. And I agree that it was contrarian. Nobody wants to buy when things are in the gutter. Someone asked me earlier, because in this last week, I started talking about an indicator that I don't normally talk about because it's not always relevant. It's the puts to call ratio, also the PCR. And somebody asked, how do you find it? Well, if you're looking at TradingView, you can simply go into the indicators tab and you can type in put call ratio, and a bunch of them will drop down and you'll see all the Magnificent Seven. You'll see Apple, Tesla. And I'm just going to give you, I like to feed. I'm passionate about the technicals. So somebody asked me a technical question, I want to let them have it. When the indicator, the middle line for an equal degree of puts and calls is the number 1. Anything above 1 means there's more puts to calls. Anything beneath 1, so like 0.8 1.80. That means there's more calls to puts. And yes, you can find that in the indicator. Mo, I'm coming to you, and we just had Tesla earnings yesterday. I want to ask clear questions, and I'm gonna challenge for clear answers. Tesla hit 140. It came up to 165 roughly. I don't know where it's sitting right now. And the question is, are we going back to 140? Was this a flash in the pan? Was this a bull trap? Or did we make a bottom? I want you to first start off with a yes or no. Did we make a bottom? And then you take it wherever you want, brother.
Okay. First, I want to start out by saying I saw a new watcher on here, Natalia. I saw somebody say their daughter. You put that up there. So welcome to the Stock Squad live streams, Natalia. Hope it's awesome. Hope you're enjoying it. All right. Now, with that being said, you put me right into, did we make a low? I wish it was that easy, Josh. I wish it was yes, no, but it never is. I had these lines here for months now, and these are the lines of support and resistance depending on the day, right? So they were lines of support. They crashed down. And now at this point, you see them going back up to one. My first line was 163. We got above it today, came back down. I actually was discussing this with Dr. Stock right before this. We called up and he said, what do you think about Tesla? Do you think we hit a low? Same question you just asked. And I said, you know what? I'll put it blunt to you. If we confirm above 163, I believe we're going to go to 175, test the 50 EMA if we break that 200. It's that simple. If we can't get above 163 with a confirmation, we are going to 153. And if we have a close below 153, I don't think we made a low. So in other words, the next, say, 5 days are going to tell me if we're going up to 175, possibly 200, or if we confirm back under 153, I personally believe we're going down in the 120s and possibly back down to 109. So if we can go up, you know what I'm saying? And it's not like saying, oh, well, he's just saying up or down. No, I'm saying if you are patient for the next day or two, you should have your direction on where we're going. And so that's how I see it. And at that particular moment in time, once we get the sign, we'll have the answer of what play is the best play. To ride the trend, that could be the way to go. In other words, if we see everything starting to sell off, it confirms under 153, we're probably heading back down to those near-term lows and possibly the 120s. If we break above, the market starts to rally, things are good, we get above 163 and confirm, we break the 175 at the 50 EMA, I think we're going to 200. But we have to wait and see what it tells us first. It can't just be like, hey, I asked her out on a date. What'd she say? I don't know, but we're getting married next week. That can't be the way it is.
I love it.
So,
well, you're my version. So first of all, I thought those were really good technicals, Mo, and it came to mind that I had said in my show today on Tesla that as long as we held the 160 line. Now you got 163, but I think that honestly, if we are in that range and we hold, then I think that we can begin to go up. But I also believe that if we lose 160, and I want to define that for people that are new, people are going to get sick of me reminding them how technicals work. But I'm going to take hope in the fact that someone's going to make money. The way that a trend line is lost is not if a candle presses into it, okay? Because candles will press into trend lines intraday. But what you watch for is how it recovers over before the close, because that can easily happen. But the way a trend line is lost is when it opens beneath and closes beneath a previous support line, then you have a trend line that's been lost. After that, you often will see the price still attempt to come back and touch or kiss that trend line one more time before confirming the downward move. That's very standard technicals. And so if you see it open and close beneath the trend line, come back and kiss a trend line and get rejected, brother, it's going south. Where's it going? Mo said 140 easily, and that would be my next trend line. Larry, I want you to take a broad view, say whatever you want about Tesla. What did you think as a Tesla investor? I know you own some Tesla. You may have traded it. What are your thoughts on Tesla?
I agree with you guys on the breakdown. I do agree with you guys on the breakdown, and yeah, it's once the floor falls on it, it's a long way down, good people. it's a long way down for Tesla. Unfortunately, it's just like you see those cartoons where they fall through a floor, then they fall through another floor, then they fall through another floor. That's what Tesla looks like if we don't hold, okay? If it breaks under support. Long term. Well, Josh, I think I may have been on live a couple of days ago before the earnings, and on the day of the earnings, before the earnings happened, I made a video and I said I was buying some at 140. And you remember, Josh, I literally bought a ton of it at 140. Okay. I'm not going to say a ton. I bought a lot at 140. And then when it got back up to around 142, I bought more. And I thought that the bad news was priced in. I thought that it was overly priced in. Now, what made it even better is what the CEO started to say. He started to sound bullish again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And we all know, Elon has been promising an affordable car forever and a day. But he's that one dude that could promise it again and people get excited, right? And he keeps kicking that can down the road. A $25,000 Tesla.
Well, Larry, he did put some rockets in space, and he does want to colonize Mars. So someone's like, okay, he might be able to do it.
Right. And that's what everybody is geeking on. They're geeking on, like, this dude is able to do a lot of things now. So long term, ask me what I think about it long term, Josh.
What do you think about it long term?
We're coming back down. Come on down. It's gonna come down. And everything EV is going to come down.
Okay. All right. Think. Let me fight with you a little bit on this one.
And I'll tell you
why. What if Elon does some things to distinguish themselves? I agree with you. EVs. Listen, Neo, Lucid, Rivian. They're telling the story that EVs suck. But what if Tesla can separate from the pack and use that Dojo supercomputer that they built in 2022 to crunch some AI numbers, create artificial intelligence, give us autonomous cars, robots, and Olympus? Right. Larry, come on, man. It's more than a car company.
Yeah, you know what it is? That's been the argument all week, right? Well, ever since.
Can I jump in real quick, Larry? I just got a comment. I tell you this. If you have not downloaded MOOMOO, and I'm not even trying to get signed up for MOOMOO, I just want you to go to Tesla, and then on MOOMOO, they got the way that you can see how a company is earning money, right? If you're on MOOMOO, my people who are already on there, you know what time it is, right? You go to Tesla, you go see how the company is earning money, and you'll see that like 95% of their revenue is coming from car sales. So I'm over this Tesla is not a car company kind of argument. I'm over it. Maybe one day, but for now, I'm gonna get you the exact numbers. 93.76% of their revenue is from the automotive segment. Family, that's an A. That's an A minus. That's 93.
Right.
That's all I got. They're a car company for now.
You making my point. So I stand accused. I was beating the drum in 2021. It's more than a car company. They got this. They're boring tunnels. They this, that. You too, right? I stand. I lay myself on the altar. Forgive me. I'm telling you exactly what Keenan said, right? If it looks like a dog, it barks like a dog, it's a dog. At the end of the day, it's a car company that does other things. Well, that's promising other things. Now, I believe that Elon will start to deliver, but this is not bad news. This is great news because I see a clear way for me to load up on Tesla, and I see when. I see that because of what's happening here in the Midwest during the winter time, cold zapping all of the energy out of the batteries, right? The problems with the charging stations, low mileage range, all of these problems will get solved. But if you look at the entire ecosystem of automobiles, you break it up into three. You got gas vehicles, ICE, right? Then you got EVs, right? And then you got hybrids. Which one experienced the most growth? Hybrids. So what's happening is the younger the generation gets, remember, every 5 years there's a turnover, okay? Then you may, grandpa and nana and papa and them may hate electric vehicles, but the grandchildren are absolutely going to be driving electric vehicles. So there's a transition from gas to hybrids, right? And then the numbers are still going to go up year after year on EVs. So this is going to be the year to buy Tesla. I don't know about the other EVs, but this will be the year, because I believe that this will be the year that they get beat down the worst, including Lucid. Lucid, I wouldn't jump on Lucid right now. Lucid is going to do another share dilution. I absolutely promise you. It's not time. Be patient, wait, and this will be the year. And then let me end by saying this. This election, this presidential election, is going to be hugely, hugely effective on the EV market. Because if the incoming president does not like electric vehicles and he's yelling, drill, baby, drill, that's going to be a negative for all EVs. Go ahead, Josh.
Well, I like what you're saying, Larry. I think that it's really important to keep a laser eye on the fundamentals, as well as what you're saying, Keenan, is that as much as we want to look down the road at the opportunity of them being more of a car company, that Dojo supercomputer is working in the background. We got to see if it comes up with the right answer. It may not be there just yet. Let's take a shift here, guys. First of all, take a small station break. If you guys are looking for more of what you're seeing on the screen right now, the Stock Squad analysis, it's over in the Stock Squad Patreon. That is the Stock Squad Discord, where you can find all of us. We're giving trade alerts, technicals, and we're answering questions. And we are meeting every day. Every time you guys see us do these lives together, we often follow up with a meeting on how to make that Discord better and give you guys more content, in the goal of educating you, helping you do your own due diligence, and ultimately for you to reach your financial freedom and your financial goals. Guys, there's a link in the top pinned comment. You can join us over there for more content. All right, so I want to take a step back.
Yes. Stock Squad really quickly.
Yes, Keenan.
So today in the Stock Squad Patreon, you know how we go in there and we give the buy alerts. We had such a good thing happen, but it was so high level that a few people didn't catch it. There were so many of us, and you guys in the chat, think about this. The call options that you may have been in today that turned south and you didn't get out of them in time. I was in a call option, and what I did was I notified and alerted everybody in the Patreon that it was time to put your stop loss up, even if you were only up 1%, and get out of it up 1%. I got kicked out, and then somebody had said to me, and they were like, Keenan, but you only made $1. And I'm thinking, no. It wasn't about making $1. It was about not losing 50% on the play.
I like it.
Get in profit. Yeah, but your profit, they might charge you a fee of $1. And I'm thinking, you got to think of the long term. You got to know when to get out of trades. And then part of being in a community like this is, if I'm getting out of my long calls, I'll tell you right there. And then you can say, I wonder why he's getting out of these calls. You can even ask me. And then look where the SPY is right now. It dropped and fell off of a cliff, along with some of the other tech stocks. So I alerted the family as to, hey, it's time to move those stop losses higher. And even if you make $1, that's better than losing 1,000.
Okay, so let's
can I say something right quick?
Go ahead.
Can I say something right quick? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna do something that I tell you guys never to do. I looked in the Patreon yesterday, right? Because I was busy doing some things. And I saw Keenan's option, his SPY call, right? I jumped right in and made a couple of $100. And this morning, I was like, I held it overnight, which I normally don't do, but I held it overnight because I saw the setup. And then what did I do? I popped it. And then before he even said it's time to sell, I sold it. So thanks, Keenan. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna have a steak on you tonight. But
There we go.
It's all about it. But you know what? For those of you that aren't in the Patreon, I'm gonna take another minute. Listen, you know, like I always say, invest in yourself. If you take your money, split it up, join the Patreon, and I just want you to do it for 3 months. Just take your money, split it up, join the Patreon, follow multiple plays, not just one person's play, and you're going to make money. It's just that simple. Then you see the value of it, right? Never YOLO into all one play. And lastly, if you see Keenan go in with one option, right? Why would you go in with 20? Just think about that. I just want to just like there was one person that kept doing that. Like, well, Keenan went in with 1 and you went in with 30. Like, just look and listen at what's being said, because we're trying to help you guys make money on every play. On every play, we're trying to help you guys make money. And that's impossible. But if you simply take your money and split it up, you're going to make money.
You got to pace yourself. You got to pace yourself, because it reminds me of this. For anybody who ever been to a high school and seen the track, 1 lap around the track is a quarter mile. You got to go around about 4 times to do a whole mile. If you are sprinting on that first lap, you go all in on that first one, you're not going to be able to finish the mile at a reasonable time. You're going to be burnt out. So if I go and get 1 and then I got the other 19 ready to go, but if I put them all in and then I don't get an optimal entry, how am I going to complete this race? How am I going to complete this marathon? We got to pace ourselves so that these things can make sense and we can make money.
I like it. Okay, we're going to make a shift. I want to try to get a couple more things covered. I think we've got some great content here already. I'm liking the show. Guys, let me know if you're liking the show by hitting that like. And if you're on my page and you're not subscribed to these guys, you're not getting the whole picture, because I think that this group actually brings a broad spectrum of talents to the table and different trading experiences and different trading skills. And I think that that's valuable. So get to Mo's page, subscribe to Mo, get to Keenan, get to Larry. Larry, Mo, Keenan, I want us to take it. I don't know if any of you guys are in the Pan W. Actually, I know Larry's in the Pan W. I'm in the Pan W. I'm following, what is the Pan W? Well, that is Nancy Pelosi's crystal ball trade that she got into last quarter. I decided to join her. And the first position that I took, there's expensive options, right? Because she's deep in the money out till next year, right? And those are pretty costly. So one option cost me $5,100, and it had come up. I didn't catch it on the bottom when it had fallen, but I thought, you know what? It's come down quite a bit. It had been way up there, around $80, I believe, and it came all the way down to 51. I took a position. Unfortunately, in the coming days, it went down further. It went all the way down to $30. But I'm trusting in Nancy's sight and her ability to make big, profitable, multi-million-dollar calls. And so I bought another one, and then I bought a third one, and now it's actually doing really well. It's up, I think, around $41. And so the 2 that I got lower at around $30 have picked up the one that I bought a little higher, and we're sitting pretty good. Now, I personally want to make $10,000 minimum on this trade. That's my goal. And when I do, then I'm going to be shouting out that Nancy, finally, government, put some money in my pocket. Larry,
Josh,
what are your thoughts on Pan W?
Look, y'all better leave Aunt Pelosi alone. She is now my auntie. Y'all put some spec on her name. Look, hey, Josh, I'm telling y'all put some spec on Nancy Pelosi's
so
name.
Larry's getting there. He's getting there.
Look at that. And I got in late. And I got same thing. I did the same thing you did, Josh.
Well, you just went in heavier with 5.
Well, I went in with 1 first, and then it went down. I got in 2, and then it went way red. But what do we have on our time? What we have on our side? Time on these options, right? These options are way out, right? Yeah. And so when it went down, and I really started striking lines on it and looking at it and seeing what was going on, and then the wars are getting worse, knowing what they do, I went in even more. Actually, Josh, to be honest with you, I had twice this much, and
You trimmed
cashed
some,
out.
didn't you?
Yeah, I trimmed some, but I don't share this. I didn't. So I shared the play in the Patreon, but not by how much. Why? It's extremely expensive, and I didn't want to put anybody else in this risk. But I'm glad I sold the other 5, and I'm not going in any deeper, right? That's a lot of money. It's too expensive, right? For those that didn't see. But now it goes from red. I was down $1,400 at one time, and now we're starting to look good. And the truth be told, I'm like you, Josh. I plan on making 10 on it. But
I want 10 on it. I want Nancy to give me 10. It's time for with the taxes that we just got done covering. It's time to get some back.
Let me say this though, Josh. If you're making $30,000 a year, don't get in this play. I'm just gonna don't get in it. You can't. It's not for this play is not for everybody, and this level of risk is not for everybody. But Nancy Pelosi with her returns, y'all leave Auntie alone.
I agree. All right, I want to make a shift. I want to make a shift. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that commentary. Well done on that trade. All right, I want to talk with you guys about the miners. Now, the miners, maybe they're not a super popular subject. I don't want to spend a ton of time on them. I'm going to largely come out and tell you guys that I am weary of the miners. I gave an explanation that Bitcoin was going to be testing the top of its range. We've come up enough that if we were to fall back, I believe that prediction was 100% correct. There's still, though, the opportunity for us to still go and hit 70K before going lower. Ultimately, I believe that we're going to make a higher low, and I think that we've got to build some more momentum. And we already see that the miners have struggled. Think about it this way. Mara can barely hit 20 while Bitcoin is still around 65K. That makes no sense. Mara should be sitting around $30 to $36 right now, and it's suffering. Here's my view. The miners are in huge trouble, right? I think that some of them are not going to survive. I think they're going to go into additional rounds of dilution, which means that they sell more shares, and then those shares have to bring down the value of all the existing shares. The Wall Street prices that in. It means the price is going to go lower than anyone's expecting. The fact is they're selling their Bitcoin, and the only reason why the miners pop after the halving is because they have some Bitcoin on their books. But if they end up selling it all because they're afraid that they need to adjust their costs, they need to buy more NVIDIA chips, they need to bring down their cost of operation or they won't survive. They've got to make some fast moves or they're going to be out of the game. Then that's why they've suffered. They sold off early and they're up against a wall. And now they've come up a little bit. They could come up a little bit more. I am personally saying it's going to be a higher low. I'm very overall bearish on the miners here over the next couple months. Am I alone? Mo, I'd like to get your thoughts to lead us off on that. We're going to go quick on the miners, though, because I want to cover. We're getting close. All right. Thank you, sir.
Let's throw it in there. I have the technicals up and running. And these lines are from months ago I drew them. I drew back in the support when we had this stage. I said, watch out moving forward over the next few months if we come down and retest this. We just retested in the last week. What happened? We bounced off of it. I drew this way, way back in the day. We got to it, put major resistance. I said, if we ever get up to this line, major resistance, beware. We crashed down. So we crashed back down, and we're in the channel of doom, I call it, for basically all the way back to 2023. We've been trading in this zone, and these lines have been here for months and months and months, and we're still between them. We are now testing the 50. If we break the 50, it could run back up. Fantastic.
How high, Mo? If we break that 50, where do you think the most high we could go?
My personal opinion is if we break that 50, there's two lines I'm looking for, right? First one, 25. Second one, if we think we break 25, we go to 31. And that is going to be your next line in the sand. You can see this, Josh. We have talked about this forever. These lines have not changed from my diagram.
All right, Mo, let me hit you again. If we don't break that 50 and Bitcoin goes on vacation and goes south, how low would you think it would go in the coming days?
Under 10.
Woo. All right, I'm going to leave you there. I'm coming.
Not in just a few days. It could be a couple of months. But if we break below 14, I would say we're going to 10.
Wow. All right, Larry, give me some thoughts on the miners. You're right now, in my view, you are the best presenter on the miners on YouTube. Nobody's bringing in the CEOs and the talent that you've brought to your show.
How about it?
And I think it's incredible. You've had a lot of time with them talking offline. I'm just curious. I don't want to hear from, I got less to contribute. What are your thoughts on the miners right now?
It's simple to me. I'm going to say something. Josh, I almost got bullied into just buying some miners because people ask about them all the time.
Peer pressure? You getting some minor peer pressure?
Yeah. I fell into the minor peer pressure. And the truth be told, I said, listen, I said this yesterday or the day before yesterday. If you got $100 a day right now on miners, I said I would max be spending only $20 a day on it. And I'm just going to tell you guys the truth. I am negative on miners right now. And I'm going to tell you why in 2 minutes. Listen, I'm negative on miners right now. And I'm just telling you, pace yourself. If Bitcoin drops back down, if Bitcoin has a 25 to 30% cool off, and let's say we go down to the 155 area, these miners are going to tank. They are absolutely going to get eviscerated. I'm just telling you guys. But Larry, you were so gung-ho on it. Yeah, I made $48,000 with 2 miners.
Come on.
You guys saw me. You guys saw me buy the stock. You guys saw me do call options. And then I turned around literally a day before the very top. And I started doing what? Put options and selling everything. So for the last year, I've been just kind of riding it perfectly. Not the absolute top, but the day before the top. Here's why. Block rewards, okay? We got to study more about crypto than what's just hot. Block rewards, they're getting paid half. Yeah, Larry, that's happened every crypto cycle, every 4 years. Yes, it has. But you got to look at the reward system. And when you're talking to these CEOs and you understand right now, Josh, Bitcoin has to stay above around 55,000. If Bitcoin goes under 55,000 and stays under 50,000, half of the Bitcoin miners are done. I want you guys to understand that.
I follow you.
Half of the Bitcoin miners are done, half already. And then they're going to be a lot of M&A, a lot of consolidation. We talked about that with CleanSpark CEO. So a lot of consolidation will start to happen because they're getting, now Bitcoin will be mined, but I'm telling you guys, if you're putting a lot of money into these miners, 2 things I'm going to caution you on. 1, biggest market cap, the ones that has huddled their Bitcoin and have the newer machines, right? The hash rate, we got to look at the hash rate. I would start with the big dogs. Leave these small pox alone, deal with the big dogs for right now. 2, be patient, wait. I'm telling you, if Bitcoin cools off 25 to 30%, that would be the opportune time to see who's going to be efficient enough to last. I'm going to leave it right there. Don't be in a rush. Pace yourself. I only have $50 of the 4 big ones right now. And the truth be told, I may cut that down to $5 a day right now. Hey, that's how.
Let me say something real quick about what Larry said.
Go ahead, Keenan. Go ahead.
I want you guys to really understand, right? I don't speak for Josh. I don't speak for Larry. I don't speak for Mo. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm going to tell you like I see it. Listen, I ain't never going to get an interview from a Bitcoin miner, and I'm going to tell you why, because what I'm about to say. Those companies are trash, and I'm going to just tell you right now why. Imagine that Tesla told you what the miners are telling you, that every 4 years, the thing that is generating revenue for them is going to cut in half. So if if you heard
Come on.
that Tesla was making $100,000 for selling one car and they get to keep it, all of it, and then 4 years is 50, and then the 4 years after that is 25, and then 12.5. Wait, whoa. Your revenue generator is cutting in half as time goes on. Nah, that's not a good company.
But I have something to say in there that I'm not saying they're
I'll
trash.
say
Keenan stands alone right here. Me and Keenan are disagreeing with each other. Can I get some hand claps?
I want to say this.
Okay, and then I got something to come behind.
I want you to rebut it. I want you to rebut it. But I want to say this. If you are investing into them because you like that they have Bitcoin, it makes sense to just get Bitcoin if you want to hold long term. So,
all right, Larry, what do you got to say to that?
Okay, there will be a time to buy and they will make money. Okay, you have to understand their purchase price in the reward system of where they get crypto, like MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, look at the price of Bitcoin right now, right? They've bought billions and billions of dollars, but their average cost is 33K. So look at the profit based on the amount that they have. This is how the Bitcoin miners make their money, okay? They're block rewards, okay? But yeah, the rewards get cut in half, but you gotta look and you understand, the CEO said it yesterday, they buy Bitcoin lower than the spot is. You understand? So they're getting it at a lower rate. And so if they huddle their Bitcoin and reinvest it, then they will make money. And so there will be money to be made. Now,
Okay.
the three, let me say this.
Go
Say this. There's three that I got, the three that I literally am waiting to get back in on is CleanSpark, because I like what they're doing. They're going to make more money, and Riot, and then Mara. But it's going to be in this order for me, actually. As
I like
of
this. I like this. Give me your lineup, Larry.
Riot, CleanSpark, and then Mara right now. And that may change. But for right now, those are my three top dogs. I'm telling you, I'm not putting a lot of money into all of these smaller miners. Yes, sir.
What is your time frame on it? Would you say it's a 20-year thing?
Oh, absolutely not. No,
That's
this
what I'm
is
saying.
no. We're gonna be while we're in the run-up phase of crypto, while we're in the markup phase, I will be out during the markup phase. I will be out of all miners during the markup phase. Okay? Because that's the time to get out of miners.
All right, I'm gonna give my thoughts on Larry and Keenan's debate this evening with the miners, and then I'm gonna come to Mo, and then I want to touch on MicroStrategies. So get ready to give us your thoughts, brief on MicroStrategies, because our time is running to an end. I'm only gonna go for about 5 more minutes, and I want to cover briefly Bitcoin and the alts. So here's my thoughts on the miners. Right now, we're going to see a bloodbath in the miners after we make a new lower high. We're not going to make a new high right now that I see, because I think, just like Keenan said, the face winds ahead of them are going to be fierce. And I think, just like Larry said, we're going to see consolidation, and we're going to see some that can't survive. But Larry commented a moment ago that he is still accumulating. He might begin to turn down some of his daily or weekly accumulation, he said, from 50 to 5, because he's also recognizing the storm ahead. But here's the two things I picked up, and I happen to agree with them. One, make sure that you're in one of the winning companies. Make sure that you're in the right miner, because some are going away completely and you don't want to lose 100% of your capital. Price is truth. Believe the price when it begins to trend down. Look for relative strength when some are trending down slower than others in a storm environment. The other big factor that I want you guys to consider is this. People want control of the miners, and they want them moving forward. BlackRock owns all of the miners. And so at some point, when consolidation takes place, and that's exactly what BlackRock wants, he wants to take the 20, 30 mining companies, and they want to put them into a handful, and they want to control and own those, because when it's time to run Bitcoin up to $500,000, they're not going to be selling no more Bitcoin. The miners
Exactly.
won't be selling. They'll say, hey, brothers, we'll cover those electric bills. Don't you sweat about it. Matter of fact, send over that purchase order for NVIDIA chips. We'll cover that too. Just keep transferring those Bitcoin over to us in our secure custodial care. So that's what I see happening. And so there's going to be a handful of miners that are going to be worth owning in the long run. So we're going to go down into a valley. If you stay connected with the Stock Squad, it's where you're going to get this broad understanding, these debates on the miners. And I can tell you that when I begin to see the bottoms formed, I'm going to be coming out and telling you guys. Mo, final word on the miners before we go to MicroStrategy.
Well, I kind of was planning for the MicroStrategy here, so I'll just jump into that.
Oh, then yeah, go right into that, man. Go right.
Yeah. So the MicroStrategy, we're in the sweet zone, folks, the Goldilocks zone. This is the 50 to 61.8%. We're on the 50. I would actually be bullish anywhere around 1174. If you're a long-term buyer, I wouldn't have a problem with that price. If you see us breaking down and we can't hold that 1174, and you get, say you want to set a stop loss around 1050, because if you break and confirm below 1050, obviously we'd probably hit the 78% at 950 and possibly back down to 664. I'm bullish. I believe that crypto could sideways for a while, but over the next year, I am extremely bullish on crypto, especially Ethereum. I am watching right now some of the altcoins. FLOKI looking good on the bread recipe, which you guys know at 513.50. FLOKI and Shiba Inu actually. And Dogecoin, which was looking good for the longest time, is now kind of not looking good in terms of some of these EMAs and the RSI. But like I said, Shiba Inu and FLOKI kind of surprising some people. How about that run bonk? You guys introduced me to bonk months ago, and it was the last couple of days actually did well.
It did pretty good. It did pretty good. Yeah, I'm wondering if Doge Father didn't shout out Dogecoin on his big day, and we're waiting on Elon again with Dogecoin. We're waiting on.
Well, you know what? Bunk Daddy shouted out Bunk, so that's why it's popping. I shouted out Bunk. You're welcome.
Very good.
Doge
good
Father
job.
was asleep, so Larry shouted out Bunk.
Yeah, Larry put something on X. Next thing you know, it was up 60%. So thank you, Larry. My portfolio.
Mo,
I got the steak dinner for you. I'm ready.
Mo, before we move on from MicroStrategies, I was looking at your chart, and I see the potential, because here's my belief. I believe that Bitcoin is going to make a higher low if it hasn't already done that, and then we need to spend some more time coming down. That's my belief. Yeah. Now, it's a bias or an assumption, which if it gets proven wrong, I'll be the first to come out here and say, guys, no, we've confirmed a move higher. We haven't yet. Now, if Bitcoin runs up to 73K, even 80K, we know that's going to drive MicroStrategy through the roof. Would you give me now I did notice on your chart a potential forming head and shoulders pattern. So not the last peak, but the peak before that, the left shoulder. How high is that, Mo? And what's that price point?
I would say that was around 1815. You got a little shoulder right there. And so, we had that left shoulder at 1815. We have the head at 2031. If we get back up there around 1850 and we can't do that, we can't get up and get a new head, man, look out below. And we know that, 60-something percent, 63% of the times on the head and shoulders, you break the neckline, it gets ugly. And so I'm watching for it too.
Yeah, so I just want to make a prediction, and it's not, someone said to me, Josh, you're not making predictions because you're not telling us which direction it goes. And that's true, right? I don't have the crystal ball. These are all if-then scenarios. And once we've identified the if-then scenario, we are not trying to be proactive to it. We are trying to be reactive to it. So in my if-then reactive scenario for MicroStrategies, I'm going to make it to you. I'm going to call it a prediction, even though you don't like that. Some of you don't. If we get a touch and make a lower high on Bitcoin anywhere north of 70, I think that we're going to make that shoulder that Mo just gave you. And there's a lot of meat on that potential pop on MicroStrategies. I know Larry will be digging his teeth into that meaty bone. And I'm going to be taking a piece of it. And yes, what Mo said, though, is if we do go into a 2 or 3 month sideways action move on Bitcoin that does eventually come back to maybe 55K, that means that MicroStrategy, which is way volatile, could come all the way down to $1,000 from my point of view. So that's your Josh if then prediction for the
Josh,
day. Yes, sir.
I got a quick indicator. I wanted to ask everybody if they ever heard of it, because this is an indicator for me. It's called the Larry Jones indicator. If Larry Jones is looking at an altcoin and I ain't heard of it, it's time to go look. It's time to go look.
Amen. Amen. Larry, bring something to the family. I'm loading up and asking questions later.
The Larry Jones indicator. It's time to go and look.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. I like it. Hey, Larry is a momentum trader. If you don't understand the mix that's in front of you, you've got technicals traders, you've got momentum traders, but I'm going to tell you, Larry's a momentum trader. So if it's moving, he'll be in it. If it's going south, he's going to get out, right? Yeah. Or go short. And I can tell you personally, he never gets married to a story. And so I do like to check in with him every once in a while and be like, hey, man, where do you think this is going? Yeah. On that note, I'm going to do a quick round of sign off. You guys just share whatever you want to share. Give us any thoughts on crypto before you head out. Larry, I'm going to lead off with you, then go to Mo, and then go to Keenan, and then I'll finish the show.
Okay. So as we can see, I want to answer your MicroStrategy question. MicroStrategy is, just think of MicroStrategy to be leveraged against Bitcoin. Bitcoin moves up one point, it moves up 2.5 points at some point. Okay. So that's what I think about MicroStrategy. If there is a retracement of Bitcoin and it holds steady, let's say Bitcoin falls back down to 55, that's where I'm going to be loading up on companies like MicroStrategy, because I just think that it's a retracement and Bitcoin will soon pass 80 and then head by the end of this year to 100K. That's what I think could happen. Also, CleanSpark, if you listen to the CEO, are doing a lot of things with their crypto like MicroStrategy. So I would say Riot and CleanSpark are a tie, and I'm going to take back what I said earlier. I think CleanSpark is still a head away. As you can see, year to date, these are the only two that's making money. All right. If Bitcoin has this retracement, number one, I'm telling you guys, like I said on my video earlier today, I don't let a weekend go by without putting stop losses on my crypto. I literally make sure my stop losses are set on all of my crypto every weekend, because I just think that we just need another healthy pullback. Understand, you can't just eat. You got to go take a dump, right? And so Bitcoin's got to take that dump, and then it takes off, right? And so I'm telling you guys, look at Bunk. Look at my baby Bunk. Bunk, baby Bunk. Over the last week, it was up today as much as 78%. Bunk was. I will tell you that Bunk at the low of this month can 3x from here. 3x from here. And that's what I believe. But if you're buying at the top, you're cray-cray. If you're putting all of your money into any of these meme coins, you're cray-cray. Again, 80% of my crypto money is in Bitcoin and ALTS. That's it. Okay. So that's what I want to say about crypto. I love you guys. We want to keep the family fed. Listen, if you are not a part of the Patreon, bro, what you waiting on?
Thank you, Larry. And hey, I agree with you. Mo, let's get you up. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Larry on that one, man. There's some room there. You don't want to be buying at the top. I sold, somebody in the comments said here, hey, what did you say is going to 10,000? Let me tell you, I said Ethereum's going to 10,000. You know what I did a couple of weeks ago? I sold all my Ethereum. Almost all of it. And I ended up moving that cash over to do some ETHE buying on the way down with Ethereum. I was around 3550, 3650 zone, 3600. I sold it. I didn't want to try to figure out where the rocket was going to land. It landed within the next few days, ran all the way down to 2,800, and I have been buying massively since then. And so I have about 1/3 of my position from all. I bought low, $100, $200 a piece for Ethereum, sold high, 3,600, buying back lower. And now I'm going to get an extra 15, 25% worth of Ethereum exposure, and I'm playing the whole discount with the ETHE Grayscale. So we got some good things going on. We get the spot ETF. This is what I think is going to go to 10,000. I think Ethereum, which I have a nice position that I buy every week. You guys know I've been doing it for years, sharing it on YouTube. Every week I buy $100 worth of Ethereum. It's grown tremendously. And put it bluntly, I think Ethereum spot prices will go to 10,000 or above about 12 months probably after we get the spot ETS approved here in the United States. Once we get that, I think a flood of money will come in, barring anything bad happening out there. You know, the market goes into a severe depression, something like that. Of course, you're not going to see everything running up. But the way governments are spending, inflation, everything out there, governments around the world spending like there's no tomorrow. You got spot ETS getting approved. Hong Kong just did. I think the U.S. is on board over the next 12 months. We'll see if mainland China can get access and wherever else around the world. It's only bullish, in my opinion. Of course, we know that profits can be taken along this. We've had how many winners? And so the idea is to take profits on the highs, buy back down the lows, rinse and repeat, buy an island, and just enjoy life.
I love it. Thank you, Mo. Great insights, incredible stuff. I like what you're laying down. And one of the takeaways, I like to process some of the things you guys say for the family. Mo sold when Ethereum was hot, and he put that money aside and he began to accumulate. And as it drops, he can buy more, and he's not lost anything. His bags are going to get bigger. This is how you be a disciplined trader and make more money. Keenan, go ahead and wrap us up, and then I'm going to sign off. You muted, brother.
That's exactly how I'm looking at the miners. For example, Mara, I'm talking about, I just made a play on Mara. I did the technicals on it in the Patreon, for example, at like, 15, and then it ran up to like 19. That call option is up like 300%. So I'm saying all that to say, you can make so much money with these miners. You can make so much money with the altcoins, with AI stocks, everything. But you really can lose a lot if you don't put in a second to think about risk management. If you just skip that and you just jump in, you're just going to relive what we've all already lived, where you didn't have proper risk management and then you're going to lose. But you don't have to be that way. You can learn from others. That's how you be wise. Wise people learn from others' mistakes. People who are smart learn from their own mistakes, right? So it's better to be wise in this case. So here's some wisdom for you. Dogecoin is way stagnant. Like Mo was saying, it's kind of asleep right now. If you see Dogecoin hit, let's call it 12 cents, if not even 13 cents, the ride back up to 15 or 16 has been exceedingly easy, right? Now, I know that's not a double or a triple, but it's such a rinse and repeat kind of a zone that I want you to look for Dogecoin at 13. I'm not telling you to buy or to sell, but the ride up to 15, 16, get out, get back in, get out, get back in. I've been knocking it out of the park. So go and join us on the Patreon so we can give y'all the word and tell y'all these buy alerts. Larry, you got something to say?
Yeah, I just want to say, and I'm not trying to pump my video, before you make any moves with Bunk, just watch my video today. That's it.
I love it. Okay, guys, a couple thoughts here. I'm going to finish up here with this comment from Tadios. Anyone thinking of being rich by investing in the stock market, the truth is it's a waste of money and time. Now, I'm imagining that he has had a bearish moment and has lost some money, and that's something that all of us have. I'm going to tell you guys that I don't agree with that statement. Wall Street, for me, has been a giant cash ATM with incredible power. Yes, Larry.
I lost money in Vegas. It sucks.
Well, and so let me just talk about this for a minute. So I did a video. I'm shooting it today because I got some things planned for tomorrow, and it's basically going to be titled Lotto Trades. Now, this was a reminder because I made an extremely accurate call on NVIDIA this last week. About a week ago, I said on a day that it was green and it was up, I said, guys, ignore that green candle. This thing is going to flush. It's at the top of my channel. The market's got some reasons to pull back. We hadn't got that 6% yet on the SPX. The next day, we got the biggest red candle, very similar to what we're seeing with Meta today. And we've got a nice little bounce off of that. And so has NVIDIA gotten a nice little bounce. But we had this massive move down. Well, there was a Reddit post that pointed out that a guy had taken a lotto trade on it right before that. Who knows? Maybe he watched the Stocks with Josh show, and I was telling him, forget that green candle, go short. And he bought a far out of the money ODT, which means a expiration on the day. He put in $800 and it went to $100,000.
Wow.
In hours.
Nice.
In hours. Okay. And, and so now I know some of you are like, Josh, it just sounds like a big gambling. I actually didn't take that play. Even though I knew it was coming down, I am a more conservative investor. That's the way I like it. Each of us has our own risk factors. I am going to dabble a bit more, especially when I see things clearly in the charts. But I'll tell you guys this right now, that what's happening with my guy here, who's basically saying it's a waste of time and you lose your money, is that he hasn't gotten his feet in a secure position just yet. I repeatedly say, learn, test, execute. I guarantee you, my man executed first before he did the learning and the testing. The four of us.
For you too, Josh.
All right.
I bet. I'm willing to even bet money on this one that they ain't touched the ETF. They ain't touch one.
Despite how hot it was in the kitchen, Keenan, huh?
Yep. It was so hot in the kitchen. He came in there with no oven mitts on, no fire gear, nothing. Just jumped in.
All of his money is in BBIG and AMC. 100%. YOLO. I'm going all in.
Hey guys, I got to shout out Joseph Robinson Entertainment Super Chat, $100, which is extremely generous. And he said, I became a millionaire from meme coins, but I also agree. Very interesting. Thank you for your extremely generous gift. I think it's a sign that guys that must have made a pretty decent and entertaining show. Personally, I've had a blast. I've enjoyed every single second of this show. I appreciate what you guys have been laying down. Be careful about who you listen to and who you follow, because they can bring your energy down. When I discovered Wall Street and I made one of my very first plays, I honestly felt like I had robbed a bank. I was like, where did this